4500 X-ray.
Open fire! Stand by to engage!
Hello everyone, Dan14 Prime here. Today I want to check out with you guys the Transformers Studios Series Leader Class Blackout. What you're looking at here is everything you get out of the box. Blackout, he does have some accessories kind of pegged onto him. We'll come back to him, but of course in this line we get the backdrops that are packed into the box, and here you get the military base scene from the first movie, which I have to say was one of the coolest scenes in the entire franchise. They peaked too soon. It was kind of downhill from here. Studio Series number 8. The big stretching scene, bunch of helicopters, some airplanes, explosions, all of that cool stuff. Transformers over there, and of course a little bit of an elevated base. So again, it works. They're pretty nice. I just personally don't use them. So if we come back to Blackout here, I think a highly anticipated figure. I believe in the past we've only gotten a Voyager class version of this guy, so now we're getting him in Leader class. Links in the description below if you're interested in picking up Blackout or any of your Studio Series needs, or any Transformers needs. Check out my Amazon page, linked in the description below. I'm going to line up a bit of the rest of the line here because scale is a big piece of this lineup. And you can already start to see Leader, Voyager, Voyager. And then we'll just grab Stinger here for one of the smaller deluxes. The variation in scale is really cool. Grimlock's a big Leader class figure, really just scrunched into the box. Blackout, more traditional in size. And then you get the Voyager scale here with Prime being a smaller Voyager, like Stinger and B being smaller deluxes. So I do really like how the scale of the line comes together. All these figures and more up on my Amazon page. Check that out, linked below. And let me just give you one more here for kind of traditional scaling, though Rodimus is pretty large. Generations type Leader class. I mean, you kind of have to get every bit of Blackout's top kibble to compare to Rodimus. And it might not be easy to see because Grimlock's a bit back, but he is even bigger than Rodimus. So yeah, scale's fun, scale's cool in this line, and so is really just the overall look of the figures. I think certainly at the price point, these are as highly movie accurate figures as we've ever seen, so they're kind of going out with a bang on wrapping up the franchise here and doing the last toy line. So Blackout here, pretty cool. Just kind of give you a bit of an overview. Very busy, a lot going on, but it's movie accurate, right? It's how he looked. He's got just all kinds of crap up here on his shoulders and sort of behind his head type area. A very nice head that we'll go in closer on. Really like the legs. You can see how they have this mechanism here for the legs, kind of sliding out, protruding. Also find very functional. That will help with some of the balance sometimes because it kind of is like a catch slide almost. Get the propeller on the arm, that comes off in transformation. Come around the back here, I've got Scorponok cargo carrying on the back. He can just peg in there. You get the blades, they all fold up pretty nicely and hang down, so I think that works pretty well. Pretty much all of this gray color, a little bit of blue hue in there probably, but largely gray color. For the helicopter, then he's got kind of a more natural gray for the hands, the legs, some of these shin parts. Some silver paint, definitely like on the face area, and accented up here on some of these parts up top that we'll take a look at. But overall, basically just that one color. Kind of looks like it would be cool to go in and panel line a lot of this. He might end up looking really cool, particularly in helicopter mode. Okay, so let's jump in closer here and check out the details. I think the head sculpt is really cool. I mean, just really pops in the figure. Just really gnarly, faceplate on this guy with the red eyes. And a nice silver kind of gunmetal type color to it, so it looks really good, I think. Really kind of a bit of a flat head and flat face. You don't really see it much from the profile, so this is kind of what I can show you. It turns a bit in there. You can see it details back. It does look really good, so pretty happy with that face sculpt overall. For the helicopter here, the main body, you can flip out this gun if you like. Kind of like an additional accessory, so that'll flip out as a weapon. You can see all of the helicopter parts just stacking up on top But you know, I think it looks pretty cool. You do get some color up there as well, way up there. Again, with more of that silver gunmetal type. The black accents here looks pretty cool. Windows in the helicopter. Those are a pretty nice add as well. Down the figure here, you get this little crotch piece that flips out and looks pretty cool. It's got some paint on it. Forms, you get the Air Force logos, kind of gray plastic just in the forms. He's got this skirt piece, crotch piece, whatever. It's got some more of that gunmetal on it as well. And then just gray legs, and then down here, kind of funky shin thing. You can get those kind of how you like, but that's pretty cool. And then some pretty gnarly feet down there at the bottom as well. You get the wheels over here. So pretty cool. I mean, you know, you see helicopter in it, but it's definitely an alien robot, so I think it looks really good. You know, if we kind of spin them over to the side here, there's the rotor. You'll see in helicopter, it's got the Blackout there. Otherwise, just a lot of kind of kibble for the arms, and then some skinny legs down to some big feet. You know, he's probably not the most playable figure in the line because there is all this just stuff, it feels like, and it impacts articulation and posability and stuff like that, but he does look really good. He makes a great helicopter. Scorponok here we can pop off. We'll take a separate look at him. So it's all right. You know, he can hit some poses, and you can leave him there. Handling him and kind of moving him around, it can be a bit awkward just because of all the stuff hanging off of this guy. But yeah, that's kind of the overall close-ups of things. Pretty happy with, you know, the molded detail, the sculpt, the look. I think there's enough paint on it, and the overall color scheme, I think, works well for the guy. Maybe over here quickly, I'll just show you how this piece just pops off right there. You can set it aside if you prefer a little bit less on your figure. So for articulation, again, not the most natural playability. You can get some head turn, like I mentioned. You know, doesn't really look down. He can look up, maybe just a smidge. You can't really see that because of all this kibble, but the head's just kind of fixed back there. You can't do a ton with it other than to give just bits of a little bit of a glance, probably. The arms here, obviously they're not going to rotate over because of all this huge shoulder kibble. He's got like a bicep swivel there. He can do a 90-degree arm. He can go out about like that. He has some hands here, which kind of have this like 3-finger pinching thing. It's kind of hard to get to, but you know, he's got like a thumb and finger, just lobster claw kind of look. So you can do that with the hand. See, I just try to move this guy, and all these panels and things just love to pop apart. So you'll be playing with that quite a bit. Nothing at the waist. The legs here, he's really got some strong ratchets up there in the thighs. Nice pinned ratchet mechanisms. So he can do some splits out like that. You know, he can raise his legs and he can go back. Gonna hit some kibble back here. Going back. The leg, you know, you get a good 90-degree knee there. Swivel up there at the thigh. And then his feet, you know, they kind of rock like this, which is cool. That mechanism works. I've had this figure kind of falling forward and have that catch him before, so I think it helps with balance overall. And then you do get some good rock in there as well. So, you know, the articulation's there. It's not the easiest to kind of play with. But again, once you get to pose in place, you can clean stuff up. So here, you know, he's not the most dynamic figure, nor does he have a reputation for being in the movie. He just kind of walks around and blasts stuff, but you can get this type of pose going. And then I did notice when I took off this propeller, it actually took the whole panel with it, but there's a peg there that pegs into a panel and can just sit right up there like that. So he does come with Scorponok, kind of his other or only accessory. He's kind of transformed up here for stowing, but of course you can just fold down the tail, fold out the pincher arms. That's basically all you need to do. He's got some nice paint on him. Right, some silver on the outside, kind of gold throughout the whole center. And then he's got these beady red eyes. Nothing moves in terms of the claws or anything, or the legs or anything. It's just really the tail kind of coming over the top like that, and these just sort of folding up like this. A pretty basic, simple thing, but yeah, he stores on the back in bot mode. He has a storage place in the Copter Mode as well, which I will show you. Okay, so let's get into transforming Blackout. Let's pop out the rear propeller there, this time without knocking out the whole panel. Basically, we want to kind of like flatten this guy out and then pull a bunch of panels out. So it does disconnect here at the waist. So a good step is just kind of loosening that up and starting to flatten that out, and then pulling up the whole backpack section and starting to flatten this out. So much kibble, hopefully you can see this. Now for the front end, to tuck his head away, we do need to just kind of pull on the bottom, and just this whole section just rotates out. See how the whole front of that thing just rotates in here? This crotch panel is going to come up and cover kind of his chest area there. So you can put that in, just squish his head down, because what it does is push down the bottom of the airplane. And we'll see to get that all the way situated eventually, but there you go. And it brings this whole panel down to great coverage on the bottom, so that's pretty cool. And then this thing that was behind his head, just cover that down, and now you've covered his head. And let's just kind of unpack some stuff here. So up this top panel, you can pull that back, and underneath there is another panel again to create the length of the helicopter. If we come to the feet, we need panels that will fill back here. They have that, I always call it, I don't know, elevator mechanism in here. We saw it in Starscream. You'll see a big shiny silver piece of metal there, cylinder. So you can pull the foot down, pull the bottom of the foot down. And this is a panel that we're going to need. Just rotates out. And then this piece also rotates out. So that gets the stuff out. You want the thighs, the front of the shins, to rotate inward. So go ahead and do that. And there you can see how your panel now comes into place. And then push your panel back in, flush again. So let's do the other side here. Again, pull out your thing off the bottom of the foot. Give the leg a rotation so the front of the shin, the kibble piece there, goes to the inside. And then you rotate that back. And then rotate this little end piece up. And then push it back in. So there you go. That's most of the back of the chopper there that we'll come back to. Then if we want to get the arms situated as well. So there's a piece that pegs here on the side of the copter. It's a very tight peg. You'll feel like you're going to break something. Just get your thumb really far in there and pop that out. So that really holds the whole shoulder arm section together. Bump the camera on these two pegs. So you need to get that kind of going to the side here like this. And then for the arm here, pull off this panel, flip the whole arm back. Your main guide is you want to get this torpedo looking thing together. So that's sort of the objective. So fold back the torpedo piece, and you got to give his arm a bit of a rotation there, because there's a peg here I'm just going for to get this pegged together. That's your best guide to get the arm sort of situated. And then what's happening up top here is there's a panel on the other side. Lift it up, so it kind of double hinges, flip that up. This is where it gets kind of clearance issues and a bunch of parts start to come together. Flip that out. And there you go. So push that up a bit so you can see how that's going to kind of make the side of the vehicle there. Again, my philosophy is I tend to just get all this stuff prepped and then put it together, because you do a lot of just panel playing and assembly type stuff. So same thing on this side. Again, we want to get it off of the side of the chopper here with a pretty tight peg. Pull it back, kind of keep the torpedo looking thing, whatever it is, on the side. Rotate the arm until you can see how you're going to line those up, basically. Right? I'm just going for a peg there. The ski thing on top. The peg becomes horizontal. So there we go. In here, I don't know if I did it on the other side, make sure you're folding in the hand. We can always come back to that. And then, again, it's this panel up and out. And we're just dealing with a bunch of clearance issues. And there goes a part. Generally have not had panels popping off issues, but it could happen because there's just a lot of snug snug space up here. So we kind of have that together. We kind of have all this together. Now let's start to shape it together. So a whole crotch section should really drive into the back of the helicopter and flatten out nicely for us. So let's do that. Up top here, it's a bit hidden. We want to make just some coverage on the top of the chopper there with these two parts, and then these parts that were kind of hanging down the side of his head or whatever. They also help just panel cover. So pretty simple. You know, the parts don't even move that far, so they'll be there for you. And then these pieces, maybe do them last, they're going to go back, but let's kind of work on panel cleanup here. So we've done all this, and we just want to kind of bring it together. So there's tabs like up here and right there. Unfortunately, you know, these don't exactly peg together, but you want to smush the legs together as much as possible because you're just trying to get all this tightly jammed together. So here's peg up there. And again, this goes back. Have this down. There's a peg there. Go for that. Pegs here. Get that in there. And this is just the pain of the panel process because things are going to pop out and you're going to need to resituate and get stuff back together. Okay, I just had to play with some panel fits and probably still do. One thing with this guy, I feel like the quality of the transformation is like degrading. Each time I do it, I've probably transformed them 5 times or so. And just getting the panel fits becomes increasingly challenging. But it'll be obvious how those need to snap in. You'll just need to play with it. And then here, just to kind of finish the look up top, you get this piece that just rocks back and has a peg there for itself as well. And that helps. One of the hassles is this panel here. It almost feels like the arm could use a bit of rotation to kind of level out. But this helps keep it in place a little bit as well. But same thing over here, this side, right? Just kind of the panels where they need to go is obvious. And you'll want to just get it together. I want to push this back straight away just to help out. And I'll just kind of show you how it comes together, but I will certainly be cleaning up offline as well. So there's that. Again, just a lot of gaps to clean up. If we go to the tail, you grab the rotor back here, whatever it's called, just plugs in. And it's got a fin there you can flip out. And then the blades up top here, they just all unfold. And you just kind of lock them in right there. Kind of check them all. Feels good. They spin, so we're good. And then Scorponok, if we want to just fold him up into his little passenger mode, I guess, like this. Come underneath. Little cargo bay down there. And basically his arms go in these top sections here. Oh, let's do them this way. My bad. Like that. And then last thing here, actually the wheels, little helicopter wheels underneath here that you can flip out. So here's Blackout in Copter Mode. I think it does look really cool. Can't say I'm 100% satisfied with the transformation. It's just so many panels. I mean, there's just gaps. And like I said, I feel like it works not as good each time I do it. And whenever I pick it up, it's going to start popping apart. But you can check it out there. Again, it looks like it would beg to be panel lined and look really cool. Air Force logo there. It's gray, just dominates throughout. You get a little accent here of off-white. You get the black accents up here. Tail fin. It says Blackout right there. Kind of some more detailing here. Danger. You know, keep away. U.S. Air Force. 45,000X. So this side here, the gun. Check that out straight on. The windows all look good. The gun, the kind of little probe over here, Decepticon logo. So one of the more irritating pieces, this clip has just been getting weaker and weaker, and it's one of my bigger gaps, which is odd because that should be easy. That irritates me. Side view over here, not too radically different than the other side. Basically a lot of all the same detailing, but you have this offset fin here, so this propeller over here on this side, white accent up top. And then you can see here the look of the figure with the blades. This big blade sprawl, which is kind of cool. You know, in terms of playability as Copter, it's pretty good other than, you know, panels and it needing to stay together. But, you know, for a kid to grab this, fly it around the house, you know, that works pretty well. Underside there is just all kind of hollow and kibbly, so nothing too great underneath there. But you can just see as I handle the figure, panels becoming loose. But it looks good. I think pretty happy with the look. It's just the transformation, and then it seems like it erodes in quality over time with the strength of the pegs. Here he is next to Starscream. If I line up kind of their noses for getting the gun there, he basically comes back to the Air Force logo there. So Blackout's probably, I don't know, 5 or so inches, 6 inches, maybe even up to longer. So big, long helicopter. There you have it, guys. Studio Series Blackout. Links in the description below if you're interested in picking up Blackout or any Studio Series toys or any Transformer figures. Check out my Amazon page, linked below. Again, I mean, I like the figure. I think Voyager and Leader is where the line is doing well. The deluxes that I've seen, kind of okay at best. So it's good. I still think Grimlock's probably the best in the lineup and the biggest step up overall. But of course here with Blackout, we haven't had a lot of opportunity to pick one up. So in that regard, he's also one of the best Blackouts ever. But again, happy I picked him up. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. Again, links in the description below for your shopping needs. Any like, subscribe, comment helps out as well and is appreciated. Thanks for checking in. I'll see you next time.